Hello everyone. In last lecture, we had started our discussion for round robin CPU scheduling algorithm. We had picked that how round robin works. It is in round robin manner. It picked one by one each and every process. So we have discussed that if arrival time is same for all processes, then it is quite easy to rotate processes one by one, and round robin works in a very simple manner. But the complexity arises when we are having particular thing that is arrival time which is totally different for different processes. So we had discussed this particular thing. Now today we will discuss that why it is little bit complex when different arrival time is given for different processes. So let's try to solve this thing. Now once again I am assuming that time quantum is 2 unit of time. So let's try to design chart of time quantum 2 with arrival time given 0, 1, 2, 3. Now be careful because this is the most important aspect of round robin, where most of the students generally do lots of errors. So round robin says that process definitely which process I'll pick, that is purely on the basis of first come first serve. It is actually an extension of first come first serve. In first come first serve, if you will deploy the concept of time quantum, this becomes round robin. Why I am calling it in this way? That what we had done in our previous uh, example, we had, if all processes are arrived at the same time, we picked all processes in a series. So what is this? This is first come first serve. So let's try to deploy. The process which arrived first definitely will get chance for execution first. So P1 got chance for execution, and that is up to 2 unit of time. So what time it becomes? 8. Now at 2 unit of time, now here is my ready queue. Ready queue. Now what is ready queue? We had picked in our state transition diagram, ready queue is a queue in ready state through which you will send processes into CPU for running. So two processes arrived, one is P2 and another one is P3. P2 arrived at 1 and P3 arrived at 2 unit of time. So the process arriving in the order, that will be the order in the ready queue. So, and that is how FCFS works. That is order of the ready queue. So P2, P3. Now P1 is in CPU. So what happened now? P1, since time slice get expired, so P1 wants to go out from the CPU, and here since I have two processes, so I require selection. So which process should get entered? So on the basis of first come first serve, P2 process will get entered. So here P1 get into the ready queue and P2 entered into the CPU. So far it's good. Definitely this, that is as per our expectation that P2 will get executed. Now P2 got executed up to 4 unit of time. Now just check here. At third unit of time, you got one process that is P4 arriving. So where P4 will get stored into the queue. Now see here, P4 will be behind the P1 into the queue. Why? Because once P1 get entered after execution in CPU, at that point of time, P4 was not arrived. So P4 will get stacked up after the P1. Since P2 is running, so what happened? Now after 4 unit of time, P2 will get out and P2 will get stored after P4. And which process will get chance for execution? That is P3 process. Once again, that is as per our expectation, as per our previous system, that P1, P2, P3. But here got the twist. After P3, now P3 has completed. So P3 will be here. Now which process will get executed as per the ready queue? That is P1. So instead of P4, now P1 will get chance for execution. That is up to 8 unit of time. Why we got P1? Because in ready queue, P1 is in line first. It is just before the P4. So P1 got chance. So actually now round robin series is P1, P4, P2, P3, P1, P4, P2, P3. In this way they will get executed and will complete their task. So after P1, let's again pick. Now since everyone has executed 2 unit of time, so this becomes 6, this becomes 4, this becomes 2. Now after this P1, this becomes 6. Now after P1, which process will get executed? That is P4. So I have already cutted it, P4. So P4 got execution up to 10. Then after P4, P2 will get chance for execution. So P2 will get chance for execution. P2, that is 12. So P2 becomes 4. Then P3, P3, that is 14. P3, that is 14. After P3, which process? Once again, P1 up to 16. So this becomes 4. Then P4, P4 up to 18. So P4 got completed. Then P2, P2, P2 becomes 2. Then P3, 20. Then P3, 22. P3 got completed. Then after P3 again, P1, 24. This becomes 2. After P1, now P4 got completed. P2, so this becomes 26. P2 got completed. Now P3 already got completed. So which process will get chance? That is P1 up to 28. This becomes 0. So overall, once again, we got 0 to 28. Now if I'll see my previous executions which we had done in our previous lecture, it got completed in 28. Once again, all other FCFS, SJF, priority, everyone is ending at 28. So overall, statistically, my system is right. That was the first check. So be careful. Now here we had the twist that P1, P2, P3, but after P3, instead of P4, P1 got chance for execution, and that is purely because of the first come first serve method. First come first serve says that process which is arrived in ready queue first will get executed first, and that is, I'm not saying that this arrival is at the start when process get entered. No, after executing in CPU, each and every time whenever process will get inserted into the ready queue, on the basis of that insertion, what is its position? And that position will decide that how process will get chance for the next execution. It's just like, well, let's take one example, that suppose you want to buy tickets. uh, Suppose you want to buy tickets for watching movie. Now, there is one restriction that you can buy only two tickets at one time. And suppose there are 10 students, 10 friends of yours who wants to see the movie, and you are the one who is going to get the tickets. And at one point of time, only two tickets you can buy. So what will happen? You will first of all be in line, wait for your chance. Now, after getting two unit of ticket, you will again move back into the queue. Now it depends that once you move in again into queue, how many persons has have again uh, came into the ready queue. There will be certain new entries, there will be certain entries which are already once you were moving into the queue. So in this way, each and every time you need to be in queue and wait for your chance uh, as per the movement of the queue, where several new processes are arriving, several processes are repeating themselves. So on the basis of that, decision will be taken, and that is the same mechanism we have deployed here. So that's why, especially be careful once you read your Galvin book. In Galvin book, they have only given the example on the basis of arrival time 0 for all processes. Now, since all processes are having 0 arrival time, definitely the round robin manner will be this the same one: P1, P2, P3, P4, P1, P2, P3, P4, P1, P2, P3, P4. But when arrival time gets changed, then there will be changes. Since in Galvin only 0 arrival time or all arrival time of all processes are equal, hence this thing especially got missed, and students generally miss this concept. So be careful that there is nothing wrong given in Galvin. The only thing is interpretation for different arrival time is not given there. Hence, students get confused with respect to this particular thing. So that is overall round robin scheduling. Now, what is advantage of round robin scheduling? So one major advantage is that round robin scheduling is the most effective algorithm once we focus on user interactivity. It provides a proper interactivity. It gives each and every process a fair chance for execution. Hence, this particular algorithm is free from starvation. All other which we have done except FCFS and round robin, all processes have starvation problem, whether it is shortest job first, preemptive, non-preemptive. priority, preemptive, and non-preemptive. Except FCFS and round robin or other algorithm which we have picked suffer from starvation. Now, why these two algorithms do not suffer from starvation? Starvation says that if any process in any specific circumstances, if that process have to wait for infinite waiting, then that is known as starvation. Now, in FCFS, definitely there is a possibility that very long burst time process arrived first and wants to execute first, but after this particular of time definitely new process will get chance. It's not in a way that that will be the infinite waiting. Similarly, in round robin, after since time quantum is fixed, so after a specific time quantum, next process will get chance for execution. So every process will get its chance for execution at least once in specific amount of time frame. So that's why these two algorithms are free from starvation. However, FCFS suffer from another thing that is known as convoy effect. Now, what is convoy effect? Convoy effect says that if higher burst time process arrived first, then similarly more processes are arriving, then overall waiting time of processes will get stacked one by one as per the higher order processes, and this will delay the last process so much. That is convoy effect, that it will make one convoy. So if first one in that first vehicle in convoy is delayed, then all other vehicle will get impacted and they will get delayed one by one, just like in our trains, that first train got delayed by 30 minutes, so next train got delayed by 40 minutes, so further the last one got delayed by 10 hours. So that is known as convoy effect. So FCFS suffers from convoy effect, but it do not have starvation. So that is overall round robin scheduling. I have already also covered few problems, advantage, disadvantage, each and everything. So that is overall round robin scheduling algorithm. So here we will complete our discussion with respect to fundamental CPU scheduling algorithms. There are few more CPU scheduling algorithms uh, which we will discuss in our next class. Those are combination of different algorithms which are generally used in our system. So we will discuss all those stuff in our next class.